Hey, friends, another Friday and another day to build wins together. Isn't it great that we get to build wins all week like we usually do, and then we get together on Friday and have another day of building wins? And today's no different. We've got a guy that many in the metal roofing industry will know the name, New Tech Machinery. Many of you'll know the name Tom Laird, their national sales manager. And we're going to talk about the equipment. We're going to talk about some new products they've got coming out, some of the trade shows, and we're going to talk about past, current industry, where it's been, where it's going, and then I'm going to ask Tom, put him on the spot, and he's going to look in his crystal ball and tell us everything we need to know about 2023 and beyond. I know he's got the answers. So we'll be right back with Tom Laird. Don't go away. Boom, there we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the answer man himself is here. Tom Laird is in the house, as they say.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, you probably are in the house. Are you working from home today? You work in the office?
Yeah, I work from home about 80% of the time if I'm not going to a trade show or going to visit.
Okay, cool. Is that normal, or is that just that kind of post-COVID type of thing?
Post-COVID.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of that. Maybe we'll talk about a little bit of it. That's something. If I forget, Wes will pop up. What about COVID or something? He'll remind me. He's really good at that. If I forget, 'cause I am interested sometimes in the changes that took place. But before we get started, so you are the national sales manager, senior account manager, big guru of New Tech Machinery, and probably the most well-known equipment guys, especially in the standing seam world, right? And so appreciate you coming on and chatting. I know it's that time of year that we're all going to do shows, or have been doing some shows, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But who's Tom? Before we get started here, the people probably want to know who the heck you are, besides one guy that looks almost better looking than Wes. So.
Well, I'm pushing that, man. But no, I've been involved with New Tech Machinery since 2005. Prior to that, in my previous life, I've done everything from being a sales and production manager for a water transmission pipeline company, to being a store manager for Guitar Center, up to being with New Tech Machinery since 2005. And I've watched us grow from kind of a small mom and pop type shop up to where we are today, and one of the leading roll forming manufacturers in the world. So.
That's awesome. So a question you just made me already think about is, maybe we missed something here. Should you have a guitar in your hand and play us a lick or two?
No, but I got one right there.
Well, we could.
There's always one close by.
There you go. I mean, we could always do a little. I don't know. We got time for the long version of Inagata Davida or something, maybe. one of the great songs that I used to listen to parts of when I fallen asleep or whatever. Maybe a Dr. Pepper or two. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
It's good to get, it's great to get back to the industry that I live in for 4+ decades, and we've been honored to have a lot of great guests in a lot of different venues, but it's always good to get back to the industry. So New Tech, you said, how long have they been in existence? Let's give us the real New Tech story first, maybe, before we go too much further.
Background in New Tech Machinery, kind of in a nutshell, was founded in 1991 in a garage here in Denver, Colorado. And we were the first company to introduce polyurethane drive rollers into a portable roll forming machine. And that innovation is now pretty much the standard of our industry. First machines we came out with back in 1991 were roof panel machines. Okay. In 1994, we introduced our line of Mach 2 seamless gutter machines, the K-style gutter machines that, again, revolutionized the industry, the most copied machine in the market today. And we have since grown to offer a few specialty machines outside of our bread and butter, which is standing seam roofing machines and seamless gutter machines.
Gotcha. So that it really revolutionized the industry, though, right? Like you said, when the old way, if you will, and still a lot of it done, but of making the panel, rolling the panel in shop, right, and then packaging it, which, as we all know, if you're in the industry, packaging standing seam and getting it to a job site is not only costly, time-consuming, pain in the butt, I think is a fair word.
Absolutely.
And so this really revolutionized, right, the ability to actually roll panel on the job site. as opposed to trying to guess at the shop and then set it out and find out it's wrong, find out it's 3 inches short, 3 inches long. I mean, you literally allow the contractors, the installers to literally custom manufacture on site, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we weren't the first company to ever do this. Portable roll forming started in the 50s and 60s. Also here in Colorado. Colorado was kind of the birthplace of portable roll forming.
Okay.
Knudsen Manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
There were Zimmerman. There are other companies
Right.
here in Colorado that have done this. We just kind of perfected it. We kind of took it to the next level, and have become kind of the most popular brand of machines for what we do in our industry. And we have a machine on every continent on this planet, including Antarctica. And I always like to throw that into people.
Really?
There's even a machine in Antarctica.
So it would be like, they put it on igloos, or what are they doing down there? That's
It was taken up there for some government project. And
really?
gosh, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I had reached out to them because I sold it to them back in about 15 years ago or so. And I'd reached out to make sure that the machine was still there, and they still had it there. It wasn't covered in ice or
They got a mothballed in case they need it again someday, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. But so worldwide, obviously, fully worldwide. That's pretty impressive. So I know that you've been producing a lot of these different products for a while, but I think you may have something new on the works right now, or just introduced, or are introducing.
We do. We're going to be working on a new profile. It's not shown on our website yet, but it'll be part of the SSQ2 roof panel machine family, and it's a board and batten siding profile that'll be available for this machine. We're targeting here fourth quarter of 2022. Right now, the machine or the profile is in the prototype phase, but it'll be coming out before long. And as soon as we have that introduced, it'll be part of the website, and you'll be able to download the details for that specific profile. It'll be a big deal for customers that own these machines now, because currently they're making standing seam roofing panels with this machine. The machine's also capable of doing a flush wall soffit panel profile, and this will be something that'll be more for like residential siding. So
Okay.
Pretty exciting innovation, and there's been a tremendous buzz for this profile all through the spring and summer as we've started to get it dialed in to be able to put it in a new machine. So.
Oh, I can imagine, because that is such a unique panel. I love the board and batten look. Whether it's, I see it out in a lot of rural areas that I cover, or in more maybe urban areas. Either way, but
Sure.
I see it out in the farm country. Nothing looks better than a panel like this, a board and batten panel, right, on a farmhouse, with either standing seam roof or whatever they put on. And it's just such an old world classic look, but it's all the maintenance free advantages of steel, right?
Exactly. And to your point, for years we've been getting requests, particularly from people in the Midwest, Amish customers.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking for this profile, and we finally listened to our constituency out there and put it into production, or put it into engineering hands, and getting that put together. And I see it now in a lot more urban areas than you used to, say, 10, 15 years ago. So it's definitely gaining acceptance throughout the United States and Canada. So.
Oh, no doubt. Because you think in urban areas, if you got stone or brick, and then you even if it's an accent, right,
Yep.
or whatever you do, it's a great look. Well, that's pretty cool. So you're going to show that at METALCON next week when we're there together?
We'll have samples, at least prototype panels that people will be able to see. We'll have a machine at the show, but it won't be running that profile yet. So
okay.
That profile is still in the prototype phase, but it's going out for testing here very shortly with a couple of our trusted longtime machine users to get their feedback before we start putting it into full production and making it available to the general public. So
good. But they will be able to get the drift of what the machine is, because
probably
from a feel and look, it's going to be very similar to your standing seam machines, right?
Just absolutely, it'll still be the same SSQ2 machine, which is the most versatile roofing machine of its type in the industry today. That machine currently can produce 15 different panel profiles. This will be profile number 16 that it'll be able to do. So.
Okay. So question I should have been more prepared to ask, but I'm just going to wing it on this one. And I should know this, but your machine, a guy buys a machine. Is it one profile specific, or is it reasonably converted to maybe numerous profiles? Is that a fair question?
The base price of any of our roofing machines, from our smallest SSR Multi-Pro Junior up to the flagship SSQ2 machine, all come with one profile of your choice with the base price. To change a profile inside the machines, on our smaller machines, maybe an hour, hour and a half. On the SSQ2, one guy can do it by himself in less than an hour.
Okay.
And can do it on the top of a mountain, or can do it in their shop. It's a very simple changeover process. So.
Okay, so if I'm right, then one machine, you could literally have up to 16 different profiles if you wanted.
Absolutely.
And just load up whichever one today, preloaded in the shop. Or I suppose if you even literally, if you were at a job that you're going to do the new board and batten and a standing seam, you could have it loaded to whichever comes first, right? And does this have to be switched out in the shop, or is it field switchable?
No, field switchable. Just
Nice.
have to bring we put all the additional profiles, roller sets into crates so that you can bring that crate with you and switch them out as needed. And I've had customers literally run 2 or 3 different profiles in the same day for different jobs.
Wow.
So
yeah, so that's pretty incredible from a efficiency standpoint, what you just said. You head out in the morning, the guy and a couple guys in the trailer, right, or however he's hauling the equipment around, the coil trailer, and literally have the coils and have 2 or 3 sets of profiles, and like you don't have to come back to the shop each time. You just literally go to the next job and take an hour or less and switch it out, and off you're going.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty of our equipment. Wow. Is that it saves space, it saves time, and it saves money. So I mean, you have a trifecta that is great for any contractor to be able to take advantage of. So.
Oh, exactly. So are these machines capable of being, I always call it airlifted, but that's not the right word, but lifted up by forks
Absolutely.
Up to a high roof?
Yeah, I've seen people use scissor lifts. Our trailers, our exposed trailers that we offer, have crane lifting eyes. So I've had guys that have done aircraft hangar projects where they've lifted the machine up literally 80, 100 feet up in the air, and they're running the panels right onto the roof line. So, yep.
Gotcha. That's pretty amazing. And I've seen him. I'm very familiar, being in this industry for a long time. I'm very familiar. I've seen your product everywhere. And like you said, you seem to have really perfected the art of making portable machines.
Absolutely.
Do you make machines that now some people, I suppose, they're not limited to take them on a job site. Obviously, you can just set it up semi-permanent in a shop too, and just roll in-house if that's your preference, right?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I won't name any names, but we know some of the big factory supplier companies here across North America that use our equipment in their factory as well. So,
yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them in house. I was like a good trial attorney. I knew the answer to that before I asked. Yeah, probably some of the names you name I know probably quite well.
I'm sure the viewers would know them as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you're going to be at MetalCon. What booth? Do you know your booth number? We'll throw it up if you happen to know.
I don't know our booth number off the top of my head.
That's okay. That's fine. They'll find
it. Yes, we'll be there. We'll have an SSQ2 machine in our booth. So anyone that's going to be visiting the show, if they want to come by and see the world's most popular portable roof panel machine, come by and you'll see it.
That's awesome. And that show's going to be next week, because this is the 7th that we're dropping this show. So next week we'll be wandering around Indianapolis, going to St. Elmo's, right?
There you go. My first time there, so I've never been there. So.
Oh, you've never been to St. Elmo's before?
No, I've never been to Indianapolis. So.
Oh, you haven't?
No. So it'll be a new experience for me.
St. Elmo's, the first time I ever went there. For those that don't know St. Elmo's, it's a fine dining establishment, and they're really popular for their shrimp cocktail, especially this, like, I'm not even sure, the nuclear hot, right? It's like mouth on fire hot. And I've seen guys dip, the shrimp, literally wipe it off with a napkin and still be sweating and dumping water down the throat. It's
I love spicy foods. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, it's an experience. One, I will eat one only because of the experience, but that's a 12 Alka-Seltzer night before I leave the restaurant. but you'll love St. Elmo's. That's if you can't. I think it's against the law actually to go to Indy for a show and not go there.
Okay, well,
It's a
I
must.
don't want to. I don't want to be going against the
Well, you
laws.
don't want to. No, there's rules, there's protocol to
Exactly.
follow. So
I'll
so
be with you.
what you talked about you're working from home
Yeah.
and about 80% of the time, and that's kind of a COVID and after scenario. And I
Yeah.
really am, and I mentioned this a number of times. I just mentioned it the last show I did, or last time with somebody. I get tired of saying the word because I'm way ready to be past it. But with that said, you learn some things, right? You learn from situations that you don't like, because nobody liked that, right? What
Exactly.
How did you guys adapt to that? And more importantly than that, even Tom, and whatever you want to talk about that is fine, but I really would love to know, what did New Tech learn that makes you maybe more efficient, makes you better, or just simply different? But what did you come out of that? Because you've had to come out of it with some wins. I mean, everybody does, I think.
Yeah, I remember, boy, I remember almost to the day when it happened, when they said, okay, everybody, we're going to have to start working from home, other than essential personnel at our factory, obviously, that have to build the machines. My hat's off to all those folks, because, all through the pandemic, they had to suck it up and be in our shop. And I mean, can't speak highly enough for that.
Hmm.
I remember thinking, bringing my computer and everything home, saying, I don't know how this is going to work. I'm so used to being at a factory, getting instantaneous answers for things when I need to see what's happening. And now looking back on that, 2+ years later, and I go to the office now, boss. I get more. I'm more productive at home,
Hmm.
and the company actually they get more out of. Now I can't speak for every company and every employee, but I know they get more out of me being here. I'm more available. I'm closer to. I feel like I'm even closer to my customers, being able to talk to them. Having that type of a connection. Um, Obviously, learned how to use Zoom and things that had become kind of they were new to us at the time, and now they're second nature. It's just
Exactly.
the way we are. And I've learned to do video quotes. One of the things I really like doing is, when I send a quote for one of our machines to a customer, I'll make a video to go along with it, to walk through that quote with them line by line.
I
Things
love
that
that.
things I would might have done anyway, but obviously the learning curve got expedited because of COVID. So
Yep. Well, and I think it's a good example for all of us that even when bad things happen, or things are unexpected, things you don't want to happen, things that, be in real technical term here, but just suck.
yeah,
There's always, maybe not always, I suppose, getting hit by a semi. There's not a good plus out of that, I suppose, but
sure,
generally speaking, whatever happens, there's something good that you can learn from it, right? And if you can
yeah.
suck that learn out of it, drag it out of it, all of a sudden it's partial, at least a partial win, right? And I think that's what all the good companies done, is been able to adapt on the run. It took a while, but I think all the manufacturers that I'm involved with, that I represent, did a stellar job in a very short time frame, because there was no playbook for this, right? They're just
No,
right. It's just,
and
go ahead.
I was just going to say, when the pandemic first hit, we all thought, oh, this is going to be, you know, it's going to be a drag on business. It's going to slow things down. That was for maybe a month and a half. Since then, our business has been bigger than it ever had been before. We've been
Hmm.
busier than ever, and even up to today, even with pseudo recession or whatever that we're going through today, we're still remaining very busy. Our lead times are still out there in about 12 weeks for roofing machines, and so
Yep.
we're thankfully doing better than we've ever done. So
Yeah. Yep. That's one of the things we've been blessed in this industry is, you're right. It's we came out of that, after that. I still remember being a lifelong road warrior, and that's what I do, or it's what I did, and still do. But uh, it it was a little scary time when all of a sudden you're not going to be able to do what you know how to do. And you had two choices, all right: sit and wait for it to go back to the old way, if it ever does, uh, or figure out a new way, a better way of combining the old and the new, and come out of it better. And I think our industry in general, and I can only speak for our industry because that's just where I live and eat and breathe, but we've done I think everybody in our industry, whether it's, and I'll give a hats off to everybody in the industry, whether it's manufacturers that I'm blessed to work with or my competitors. Everybody has done a great job of
Sure.
coming through this, and it just makes the industry stronger and better, right?
Right. And like you said, there was no playbook for this, so we
No,
all were learning on the fly.
yeah,
And
yeah. Oh, I remember
and I
because
think yeah, I think our and go ahead.
no, I just say yeah, you're right. You didn't have a manual to bring down off the shelf and go, okay, here's our manual for a pandemic called COVID, page 27, line A. Here's what we start with, right? It was just,
Right.
you know, just a lot of looking at each other, going, now what do we do, right?
Absolutely. And our parent company, Mazzella Companies, who by the way also owns Sheffield Metals, or one of
Mm-hmm.
our sister companies, uh, they had great foresight, and after things hit, we had a lot of corporate wide meetings on how are we going to approach this, how are we going to move forward as individual companies and as a conglomerate, and it's been great. I mean, we've really not only survived it, we've come out stronger. So.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the things, the adaptations we had to make, uh, I think the biggest thing from my standpoint as a rep agency, Tom, is not the adaptations that I've already made, which have been doing things like this, doing this show. I would have never done this. I'd have never done a lot of things that I do. You talk about video text and video emails. There's a lot of stuff that I've adapted to. But the most important thing is, and I talked about this. Anybody will listen, which is usually nobody, but in case somebody wants to listen, it's I became an adapter, right? And more important than the adaptations I made is I really understand now that um, this was a pretty serious deal,
Yep.
and we figured out how to adapt. And so the next thing, whatever it is, hopefully nothing like this, but whatever it is, we just okay. Well, we went through some interesting things before. We'll roll up our sleeves and figure the next one out, right?
Absolutely. And I think you bring up a great point that, people are always resistant to change, and change can be painful. But I think a change of the magnitude that we've had over the last couple of years has made people at least a little bit more adaptable and understanding. And hey, what the next thing, I'll be a little bit better prepared the next time something like this happens.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So we are. I want to say maybe the the past, the current, because we've already talked about the past and the current a little bit. The future crystal ball predictions
Yeah.
from you. But let's talk about show season, because we've talked about a little bit. You're going to be at MetalCon. You
Yep.
had a crew out to the Western States show. That was this week, right?
That was just,
Early.
yeah, just this past weekend. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
so
then
we.
we do a few regional shows every year. The Colorado Roofers Association, the Western States Show. We I know we had a presence at the Frame Builder Show back in January, and we have some of our distributors that display at that show. So we'll probably at least have one of our sales staff pop in for that. And then obviously the MetalCon, the International Roofing Expo, which is the biggest show that we do here in North America every year. And we've done a few international trade shows as well over the years, Batamat in Paris, just to expose our machines to a little bit to a more international audience,
Hmm.
and gain a little bit more of a foothold there in Europe. And so yeah, we don't do every trade show that's out there and every regional show, but typically we'll have one of our distributors or one of our partner companies that'll be there, representing us in some capacity. So.
Sure. Sure. That's awesome. So we talked about the the past 2.5 years or so, which turned out to be pretty good business wise.
Sure.
We talked about current where we're at right now is I mean it's blasting, right? I mean it's fire right now.
Yeah.
Um, Balance of the year, obviously we're at a point where uh, barring something really stupid, we're going to finish out the year strong. What's Tom's crystal ball for 2023 and beyond? Are you getting any indication from machine orders, quotes for machines, anything you can put your finger on that gives you a
It's
clue?
kind of hard to predict right now. We're members of the Metal Construction Association, MCA,
Hmm.
and sitting through some of the um, speeches and webinars that I've attended with them, it looks like there might be a mild recession from the manufacturing side of things, but it's going to be more focused on the residential side, and we're seeing that a little bit with rising interest rates, with lowered house prices, and what we've seen over the last several years. But industrial commercial building is still going to be somewhat strong, and the area that seems to be the strongest for us, or at least what we're getting the most buzz about, is wall panels and metal wall systems, which have been kind of a sidelight for us up to this point, but it looks like that's going to be one of the growth areas over the next couple of years. So,
well, and you guys are positioned so well with with the ability of your equipment to I think you said 16 different stations, if you want to call them, and it's
16
probably not
different profiles. Yep.
profiles. That's an easy fix if a guy wants to go from one little area of the industry to another little area. It's not like he's got to buy a whole new machine and wait for it. He might have to wait for the tooling, right? But
Correct.
it still makes it pretty easy to
It does.
make
It allows you a little more flexibility. And for example, our flush wall soffit panel profile that is available in that SSQ2 machine can also be used as an underdecking profile. So when I talk to customers, I always like to point out that factor. Hey, you ever do any underdecking work? They'll be like, no. I said, you know what I'm talking about? Oh yeah, you mean these people that have these elevated decks on the back of their homes? I said, yeah, they have all this wasted space underneath them because they have these, the boards that are running across and water gets through those. Well, now you can seal off the bottom of that deck with our flush wall profile, and now you're giving them extra livable space, extra storage space. So we're always looking at ways for people to enhance what they have and be able to put it to use in different ways. So
yeah, awesome. So outside of a little bit of maybe a downtick in the residential world, it looks like agriculture always does its ups and downs, right? And that
absolutely.
follows a lot of the markets a little
Yep.
bit. But commercial industrial strong.
Yeah, that should remain strong, and obviously warehouse space is going to continue to be at a premium, and so there will be more of that being built, and obviously metal goes great with any type of commercial or agricultural industrial application. So
Gotcha. Beautiful. So, well, Tom. So next week we're gonna hang out and have a Dr. Pepper with
yeah,
Brian. Probably. I
maybe
mean,
even two of
since
them. Yeah,
maybe two. And we probably should have one with Brian since he's already set us up for that. So
that's
I'm gonna
right.
actually I think Brian may have to. I don't know if Brian will be there though now that he's in a different industry, but we'll have one and send him a picture.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll send him a picture. So, lastly, Tom, what's a should ask question? And what have we missed today that you're going, Randy? Will you quit blabbering and ask me this question? What did we miss that you want to tell us about you, about your company, about the industry?
Well, I think
Anything we missed?
metal construction in general is we're still just scratching the surface of where we're going to go as an industry.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we're talking about standing seam metal roofing or metal framing, siding, there's so many advantages to metal that as the word gets out more, the recyclability, the durability, the longevity, all of that is only going to enhance our industry as things move forward. Modular construction, being able to take machines right to job sites, saving time and money and hassles, as we talked about a little earlier. So I think that the future is very bright for everyone in our industry, and we're only going to continue to see growth, I believe. So
that's a great point. The industry, as far as metal as a part of the industry, of the overall roofing industry, still a small part.
Correct.
Overall.
Yeah, we're looking less than 15%. Yeah.
Right. But it's grown just astronomically over the years, and that is exciting, right? Because it doesn't take gigantic increases to be a lot of additional business. A point or two or three is tons of business, right?
Oh, absolutely. And yes, people will, well, the drawback of a metal roof is, I'm going to spend a lot more for it. And I said, yeah, it'll be the last roof you ever put on.
Right.
So
exactly.
How much is that going to save you in the long run? So.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. Well, great. Well, Tom, I truly appreciate the time.
No, I appreciate it.
Jumping on. It's been very informative. Well, of course, and we'll see you for Dr. Pepper next week.
Sounds good. We'll see everybody at MetalCon, and Make sure you stop by the New Tech Machinery booth.
Metalcon. Look up.
Check it out.
Yep. Make sure you see him there. If I see you there and you haven't been there, I'm going to bring you over to see Tom and the boys. How's that?
That's
You don't
right.
want Randy hauling you around the show, believe me. That's right. All right, Tom, my friend, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you. We'll see you next week, brother. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Good information on the industry, good information on a great company. They've been around forever, and everything Tom talked about is spot on. And if you're looking to get into standing seam world, give them a call. They will help you out. Go see them at Metalcon. And so what are we doing next week? What are we doing next week? You know what we're doing next week? We're going to bring the wife of the legend himself, Earl Nightingale, his wife, Diana. What a incredibly wonderful lady. And Earl, if you don't know Earl, you got to know Earl, and you're gonna love Diana. You're gonna love the stories. Probably the most exciting story I've heard all the time, and I grew up with Earl Nightingale. Her and the biggest part was watching or to listen to her tell the story about how they met. You'll understand why he's a major was a major sales guru because it was brilliance at its best, and you're gonna love Diana. So that is next week on Building Wins Live, and I'm going to be at Metalcon, so anybody that's coming to Metalcon, make sure you look me up, hit me up, send me a carrier pigeon, make an announcement over the PA. Even that might scare me a little bit. I usually run when I hear my name, but make sure you look me up when you're there, and we'll have a Dr. Pepper and go see Tom and the boys at New Tech or whatever else we do. But we'll see you there. And until then, remember, the one thing that I do every day is love what I do and do what I love. You got to live it, love it, and own it, right? Because you only get one go around. And for sure, make today your best day ever. Until tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.